What's happening, people? I'm what you need. You're watching my channel. I hope everybody's having a good day. And we're going to talk all things boxing today. We're just doing a stream where you can fuel the questions. I'm going to express my opinions, though, on some specific things. We're going to get into it really nice and good. So, anytime I start talking to myself, I realize, dude, this is something where I can just do it on video and just express my opinions on video. You know what I mean? So, I'm going to express my opinions on video. We're going to cover several different topics. And we're going to try and whatever you want to talk about as well, you can talk about. But I'm going to start the ball off of rolling. I'm going to kick it off with some of the old school fighters, because a lot of people don't know that I do look at old school fighters and I appreciate what they bring to the table. I see deficiencies in their games and so on, but I appreciate what they bring to the table at the same time. And there's a lot I want to say about old school fighters, and what they call the black and white reels. But we're going to leave that for another time, because I will isolate it in a specific sort of way. But right now I'm doing a series, for those of you who don't know. I'm doing a series in the community section where sometimes you can run polls or comments. Some of you are subscribed, you see in the series. And it's about how to nullify a jab, to take away a jab from a fighter, to make it ineffective. Because I think a lot of people don't know out here in boxing, as much as the jab is a key weapon in boxing, it could also be your weakness. And it's okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that another time, and about old school boxers another time. And I'm going to say, again, I appreciate old school boxers. There's a lot of things they bring to the table that makes modern boxing today what it is. I don't not appreciate old school boxers, but I always try to keep everything in a particular reality, the reality of what really is happening. So for example, when people praise certain old school fighters, I know a lot of people really praise Willie Pep. They go off the limb about Willie Pep, right? And they talk about all these 100 and something fights. They love to talk at these people who really watch old school boxers and stuff. But when I look at Willie Pep, as much as he's something special, because he was special, no doubt about that, I see deficiencies in his game. I see where he has shortcomings. Now, does that mean that I hate Willie Pep? No, he was very entertaining. I liked his style of boxing, right? Smart boxing. But what I'm saying to you is, and the reason this is so is, at the time, in his era, they wouldn't have seen it as deficiencies. But we are so many eras removed from that. And boxing has developed so far from that, that a lot of people do not appreciate what we're seeing today. I'll give you a perfect example. If Willie Pep ever, he wouldn't have, but if he ever had met up with Miguel Cotto, he would have taken the beating of his life. Trust me. He'd have taken the beating of his life. Okay? Willie Pep would have, he wasn't even a lightweight. He was a featherweight, right? So what is that? He would have never met Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto was a super lightweight. So, but what I'm saying is, Miguel Cotto would have been a huge lightweight or very big welterweight. Because Miguel Cotto was a huge, big, strong guy. So I'm saying this not to put down Willie Pep, because he's a legend, and it doesn't really matter no more, because he was facing people in his time. He wasn't facing people in our era. He wasn't facing people in the eras after us. He was facing people in his time. Okay? Dom, what's up, bro? What's up, Dom? I hope everything's well with you. Don't forget to smash the like button if you like what you're seeing. If you don't like what you're seeing, be honest with me. You don't have to smash it. You can put a thumbs down. I don't really care. So I put this to you guys so you understand, and I keep on emphasizing it over and over again, that boxing as a sport has evolved. Boxing as a sport has evolved. And if you can't see the evolution of boxing, because one of the things the older heads always love to do is impart their knowledge onto the younger guys, and they could take it and spin it however they want. That's what Roy Jones Jr. was saying. I get that. I put all of myself on the table. I show these younger guys, now that I'm done, what I had. I bring what I brought to the table so that they could take it and make it their own and add some extra flavor to it, right? What a lot of people don't understand is a lot of these young and upcoming boxers were mentored by guys from before their time. Not Floyd Mayweather wasn't just mentored by his father, okay? Of course, we hear mostly about Pernell Whitaker, and Floyd talking about giving a lot of credit to Pernell Whitaker for where he is today. It's Pernell Whitaker and the guy that beat the guy that beat Julio Cesar Chavez. The first guy to beat Julio Cesar Chavez, Randy something. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and these guys took Mayweather under their wing, and they took care of him, and they also gave him suggestions and tools and tips for how he should progress in his career. And those things mean a lot. Okay? Because when you got somebody you can look at that's a kind of mentor to you, that kind of leads the way to show you where to go. That's great, especially somebody from another generation. And you see some guys in the Mayweather boxing gym, the early Schaefers, they're not just there for fun. They're not just there for style, Eddie Mustapha's and stuff. No, them guys be watching that Floyd too. And they may be giving him tips and pointers of what he could do to improve his game, not just the guys who Floyd was working with. Having the older heads watching you and helping you along. George Foreman is a big proponent of Floyd Mayweather. In fact, he says that Floyd Mayweather is a better boxer than Muhammad Ali. And he don't make no qualms about it. He followed Floyd's career. But my point anyway is this. And we're going into a lot of different things. But first, you guys can keep on talking. I remember you can ask questions here. This segment is for you. You ask whatever you want to ask. Y'all can talk about things that are kind of outside of boxing, events and current events that are outside of boxing that probably are related to boxing. Dom says, Gervonta needs to stop expecting Floyd to do everything for him. Yes, absolutely, 100%. You got to fuel your own self. You got to be self-motivated. You can't let, you're absolutely correct in that regard. Gervonta Davis is young, like I said before, and he's beginning to learn the guys who are really into his best interest and the other guys who are kind of floating around there. You know what I'm saying? But I think he'll get it in time. He's signed to Mayweather Promotions, so that's a good thing. They'll always take care of him. It doesn't matter what he says. They're going to take care of him, and he'll understand in time. Because they will want him to be like Adrian Broner in the sense that he has his own brand and have his own fighters under him. Adrian Broner will never go lacking for money because he's a promoter as well. And he had some successful fighters under him he's promoting. So, and Tank right now, he's carrying along trucks with Tank. I think Truck signed to Mayweather Promotions as well. So those Truck's a good fighter as well. So yeah. Going back to what I was saying, there's a point behind what I'm saying, okay? And I'm trying to enunciate it. So a lot of times, what people try to do. All right, we live back again. I'm sorry about that. What happens is my internet just cut just all of a sudden and then it came back. So sometimes that happens. Yeah, so Mayweather, I was saying, forget Mayweather for a minute. Black boxers in general. There is just like Black Lives Matter, black boxers have not gotten the credit that they deserve. A lot of black boxers, okay? And now, that wasn't always that way, all right? You look at Black and White, you listen to commentary on it, and it's fear. The commentary is actually about what's happening in the ring. I was just recently looking at Zab Judah versus Miguel Cotto. I was watching all kinds of fights today. Black and white film. I was watching all kinds of fights today, I don't know if you guys know about Gil Turner. He faced a guy called John Saxton. John Saxton, of course, became welterweight champion of the world. He was a underappreciated boxer, inside fighter mostly, but could handle himself with the jab on the outside a little bit. You know, I was watching that fight. I thought that John Saxon actually won that fight. It was a 10-rounder against Gil Turner. Gil Turner was a big, strong kind of guy, bigger, much bigger than John Saxon. John Saxon was undefeated. He was 40-0, I think, at the time. And Gil Turner came on late. He came on late. Definitely came on late on John Saxon. But John Saxon was outboxing him and everything. And not just outboxing him, but he was also, he was trying to be safe on the inside as well. So he tied him up on the inside mostly. He tried to outbox him mostly. Gil Turner was, of course, an inside fighter. So that was his thing. He could mix it up. He could do it all, but, So I was watching that fight. And the commentary on the fight was fair. It was a very fair commentary. It was describing what was happening, breaking down the game plan of both fighters, and breaking down what was really happening with the both fighters and how they were trying to score. That wasn't so in the 90s and onwards. Roy Jones Jr. is a man. He was stopping everybody. He was smoking everybody. And this motherfucker named Larry Merchant, which is bad talk, this guy, nonstop. He had nothing positive to say about Roy Jones Jr. Zab Judah was known as a hitter quitter. That motherfucker, if he punched you, he had one punch knockout power. Okay, he stopped guys with one punch. Okay, he hit you with an uppercut, or he hit you with a straight lead left, or he catch you with your right hook, and he put you to sleep. All right, and you don't believe me, you can go ahead and watch several films of Zab Judah, several fights of Zab Judah where he just put guys' lights out clean, like cold. The guy just fell on the ground, that was it. They didn't get back up. All right, they didn't get back up after the count, nothing like that. They just didn't get back up. Right, and he also did it with one or two, world-class fighters where he just knocked them out clean. Now, Larry Merchant had the audacity when he was facing Miguel Cotto to say, Zab Judah don't hit hard. And in the meantime, Miguel Cotto's lip was busted, and Miguel Cotto was stunned about 4 or 5 times in that fight. Okay? Zab Judah bloody up Miguel Cotto's, really busted his lip, like blood all over his chest and shit. Not only that, but it was a very bloody, grueling fight, okay? Where both guys had both their eyes busted up. And Cotto really hit Zab with a good shot, a left that busted his eyes, right eye open. But they had headbutts and stuff, and low blows and all kinds of stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it was a fight. And Zab Judah, every time he landed a punch on Miguel Cotto, he stunned him. And Zab teed off on him in the 10th round. At the end of the 10th round, he was teeing off on him. I think in the middle of the 10th round. Teeing off on him. He stunned Cotto. Cotto was trying to grip on him. Zab was just punching the shit out of him. And Larry Merchant had the audacity to say that Zab don't really punch hard. I listened to this fool only talking negative things about Zab. Oh, he may crumble under the pressure. And I was just listening to this fool talk. And I realized why HBO was so bad. It was because star fighters like Zab Judah, star fighters like Roy Jones Jr., star fighters like Pernell Whitaker, star fighters like Floyd Mayweather, this motherfucker was just tearing them down. All he did was just talk negative. He was salty as fuck about these guys. He was waiting for somebody to beat them. And Larry Merchant did more harm to the sport of boxing than good. Okay, this motherfucker did whatever he wanted to do, and he never boxed a day in his life. Okay, it was not fair commentary with this fucking ass, old sour ass piece of shit. Okay, and y'all want to know why I have disrespect for Larry Merchant? I don't care fuck about him. Cause he fucked up the sport. He fucked up. He disrespected Floyd Mayweather. All right, that's why Mayweather. I was glad Floyd spoke on behalf of all the boxers that got fucked over. Okay, he said HBO need to fire your old ass. They really needed to. They really needed to fight. This man was salty about skilled black fighters for no reason. It wasn't like, okay, Floyd, they say don't have punching power. Okay, or they say he not knocking out people. Zab was knocking out people left, right, and center. Roy was knocking out people left, right, and center. And all this motherfucker could do is say negative things about them all the time. All he could do. So I was glad HBO fired his ass. Okay? And these are all elite, premier black fighters. Now, to this day, Zab don't really get the credit. Everybody talking about Zab, you know, he watched it. Zab was nothing. He wasn't really great. That man's a Hall of Famer. Zab Judah's a Hall of Famer, y'all. All right? He's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he didn't come through with the big fights, but he sure showed up. He sure showed up in all the big fights. He might have showed up late, but he showed up. Against Danny Garcia, was whooping his ass in the later rounds. Okay? Against Lucas Matisse, he took a pounding and still scraped out the victory. Right? Against Cotto, well, I mean, he was game all the way to the end. The referee had to stop the fight. He was game all the way to the end, and he was doing his thing. You know, he was hurting Cotto. You know what I'm saying? Cotto was just a beast. You know what I'm saying? Cotto was just a beast. It's what it is. Cotto probably outweighed Zab like on fight night by God knows how many pounds. Zab comes in like 151. Cotto comes in like 165. You know what I'm saying? Probably outweighed by 14 pounds. You know, Cotto was a big dude. Always walk around. Fight shape, 160 something. Okay, so Floyd had to come down from 160 something to, you know, 147. And Cotto hadn't made the 145 pound limit, the catch weight pound limit, in a long time. You know, a lot of people say, well, you know, Cotto, there's an excuse where Cotto lost to Pacquiao because he was wagering. I'm not saying he would have beaten Pacquiao, okay? Pacquiao got skills. But one thing I'm very certain about is there was no way in hell Pacquiao, who I don't think punches as hard as Zab Judah. He's solid. He probably punched solid, and he's got quickness. But I don't think he punches as hard as Zab Judah. Anyway, Pacquiao dropped Cotto 3 times? Fuck out of here. Cotto don't get dropped. The only people to drop Cotto, Antonio Margarita dropped Cotto how many times? Twice. Cotto don't get dropped. The only 2 people to stop Cotto in his entire career is Manny Pacquiao and Antonio Margarita. Antonio Margarita was cheating. Okay? Antonio Margarita was cheating, and Manny Pacquiao had him at a catch weight of 145. Cotto was 160 something pounder, having to make 145. Them 2 pounds definitely drained Cotto. That wasn't Cotto. That wasn't full strength, full fledged Cotto. Y'all think that Floyd, Cotto don't even get dropped. Cotto don't get dropped. Ladies and gentlemen, at 154, when Cotto went to 154, he stopped all 3 opponents he faced before he faced Floyd Mayweather, including Antonio Margarita, who came in like the bad boy thinking he had the edge on Cotto, and Cotto whooped that ass. Okay, because Cotto can do many things. He can box and he can bang, and Cotto is strong as He's strong as Let's just put it that way. Went all the way up to middleweight and never got stopped by Canelo. Canelo's a hell of a lot heavier puncher than Pacquiao. Hell of a lot heavier puncher than Zab Judah. And he didn't get stopped by Canelo, who was much bigger than him? Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Okay? Margarito had to cheat to beat Cotto. Pacquiao had to drain Cotto to beat him like that, to get a stoppage. I don't think Pacquiao would have stopped Cotto. He might have beaten him because he was beating him to the punch and stuff. I don't know, because Cotto's a dude. Every fight's exciting with Cotto. You get a grueling, bloody fight with Cotto. There's no Cotto. Think about it. Has there been a fight where Cotto's been involved in it and somebody, it's not grueling, it's not intense, somebody didn't get dropped or something? Every fight Cotto has had has been grueling. It's been tough. There's nobody that has escaped that with Cotto. Go through it. Go through the whole list. Cotto's never just been, okay, the only fight I think was Austin Trout put a clinic on Cotto. Okay, but Cotto just came off a loss of Mayweather, so, you know, the confidence of a fighter and all of that, right? You know, Cotto, the proof is in the pudding. Just look at Cotto's record. Look at his resume. Okay, his last fight he lost to, what's the kid's name? I forgot his name. He lost to him. Okay, it was his last fight anyway. You know, that's the end of a career and stuff. Cotto, consummate professional. All right, dirty as fuck, but he's a consummate professional. He's tricky too. He's slick with the dirtiness. You know what I'm saying? But Cotto, man, Cotto. Margarita, I gave him that first fight. I don't think he cheated, said Dom. Yeah, he cheated. He cheated. He had plaster of Paris. He had plaster of Paris wraps in his gloves. Okay? And Shane Mosley's Nassim Richardson found that shit out. And that plaster of Paris dried up in his gloves later on in the fight. That's why Cotto's face was a mess. Margarita don't punch that hard. He didn't do it to Cotto the second fight. Why wasn't Cotto's face all puffy and everything in the second fight? He was taking punches from Margarita. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. He cheated. And you know how we know this? Rashid, what's his name? Shit, I forgot. He's a coach now. He was sparring Cotto for that fight. I'm sparring Margarita for that fight. And it wrecked him. His eye broke. He had a broken eye orbital from that fight. I forgot what his name is. Eric Bradley's mentee. Great fighter. Okay? And he could no longer box. Okay? So Cotto cheated. And I don't care what nobody says. Not Cotto, sorry. Margarito cheated. I don't care what nobody says. He a cheater. That's why Cotto got his sweet revenge for him. Alright? He's a cheater. He's a damn cheater. Okay? You got to use that. Come on, man. Come on, man. And we know Robert Garcia's gym is known for cheaters and dirty tactics. Look what Robert Garcia was in the corner with Alex Ariza preparing Marcus Maidana to face Floyd. And Robert Garcia said, fight Floyd dirty. Fight him dirty. Do whatever you need to do. Okay? So I don't want to hear it. Okay? Margarito cheated. And none of y'all gonna convince me otherwise. He cheated. That's how Cotto get beat. He couldn't reproduce what he did the first fight. Why couldn't he reproduce what he did the first fight to Cotto? Huh? Why couldn't he mess up his face like he did the first fight? Huh? I'm just saying. And as to Pacquiao punching hard, he don't punch. I'm telling you, he don't punch as hard as Zab Judah. How do I know that? Okay? Pacquiao got one punch knockout of only one person in his whole career, Ricky Hatton. Zab Judah has multiple one-punch knockouts, including of former world champions. Zab Judah knocked down DeMarcus Corley with one punch. Corley was punch drunk, but he's a tough dude. You know, everybody knows DeMarcus Corley's a tough dude. Knocked him down with one punch. Okay, Zab Judah ain't no fucking joke. Okay, he got that smoke in his hands. Okay, may not be as fast as Amir Khan and may have lost a lot of fights. And again, that's just because Zab Judah mentally, he never was really quite into boxing. He always get distracted and shit. Right? If Zab Judah had the mentality of a Floyd Mayweather, Zab Judah would be the best ever. Period. Okay, because he's more gifted than Floyd. What do I mean by more gifted? He got more speed. He got quicker hands. He's quicker than Floyd. Okay, he's got more power than Floyd. Okay, that's gifting. That's something you born with. It had nothing to do with skills. Floyd is more skilled than Zab Judah. Okay, he's more skilled than Zab Judah because Floyd applied himself to the sport of boxing. But Zab Judah got more gifts than Floyd. Okay, he didn't develop his gifts to the extent that Floyd developed his gifting, but Floyd trained like a motherfucker. He out-trained everybody. Floyd probably the hardest worker ever in boxing history, okay, when it comes to preparation, okay? But Zab Judah was a bad motherfucker. And you remember, his mentor was Pernell Whitaker, so he had skills. He really had skills, right? We all know he was more skilled than Miguel Cotto, right? Of course, Miguel Cotto hit him with 2 low blows to emphasize, I'm in this fight somehow. You motherfucker, you're not just going to run over me, right? Rough and rugged, but you know, it is what it is. Cotto worked the body too, so he broke down Zab that way. But Zab, man, when Zab hit Cotto, I mean, Cotto's tough, okay? But when he hit Cotto not advancing like that. You know, Cotto be swarming him and shit, and Zab just hit him with the uppercut. What? You know what I'm saying? That left uppercut, boy. Cotto just be stunned. He just sticking his straps like this. He tried to back off for a second. Because Zab can punch, okay? There's one thing, Zab don't have bad hands like Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Zab can punch, okay? Zab's a bad motherfucker, man. He's a bad boy. But unfortunately for him, his beast nature, he didn't know how to switch it off. So he'd be beast everywhere. You know what I'm saying? He'd be street everywhere. He loses shit anywhere. And you can't lose your shit in boxing. You gotta stay composed when you're fighting. You know what I'm saying? But Zab was an incredible guy. You know, he didn't perform to the expectations and to his abilities. But he was a bad motherfucker, man. He was a bad boy. So let's get into what I want to talk about. So I was saying black and white film. And I'm just telling y'all that Cotto ain't no joke, okay? I don't think Pacquiao, because Cotto's been hit by people much stronger, much bigger than Pacquiao. I don't think that Pacquiao would have dropped Cotto ever, to be honest with you. I don't think Pacquiao would have dropped Cotto. If Cotto came in 147 and was fully hydrated, Pacquiao was not going to drop Cotto. Cotto would keep on coming forward as well off his jab. And you saw what Cotto could do to Pacquiao. I'm not saying that Cotto would have won the fight. I think that Pacquiao was very effective at what he was doing, but I don't see Pacquiao dropping Cotto. As Mayweather says so correctly, and as a lot of people will tell you, Pacquiao dropped Cotto 3 times, you say? More than anybody else in the history of Cotto facing people? He dropped Cotto 3 times? Nah, man. Nah, something ain't right with that. And he was right. I'm not saying that Pacquiao was taking PEDs, and even if he was, if Cotto came in full strength, 147 Cotto, remember Cotto's a big welterweight. He was a massive super lightweight, a massive welterweight, and he was obviously a super welterweight. That's what he was. He was a 154 pounder, right? And he was a small middleweight, right? So Cotto, massive welterweight. So obviously you're going to weaken the guy and drain him by making him come in at a catchweight. Now that's Cotto's fault that he agreed to that. He agreed to that, right? Cotto agreed to that. So we can't use that as a reason for why he lost the fight. What I can say to you is that Cotto, in my opinion, wasn't the Cotto that faced Ricardo Mayorga. It wasn't the Cotto that faced Shane Mosley. It wasn't the Cotto that faced Zab Judah. Wasn't the Cotto that faced Antonio Margarito the second time or the first time. It wasn't the Cotto that faced Quintana. Wasn't the Cotto. That wasn't that Cotto. Okay? And it's not that he lost his confidence or anything like that. It was that the Cotto that went into Pacquiao physically was at a disadvantage to Pacquiao. Okay? Because Pacquiao get to eat whatever he wants, drink whatever he wants, because he don't have to worry about it. Cotto, on the other hand, he had to watch what he was eating and drinking. And up to this day, Cotto talk about that. He said he learned from the Pacquiao fight to call the shots. That's what he did to Daniel Geale. He drained Daniel Geale. We all know this. Daniel Geale didn't come into Daniel Geale that faced Gennady Golovkin. No, he was weight drained. All right, Cotto made it bring him down. And then everybody's going in on Cotto for weight draining Daniel Geale, but then nobody's going in on Pacquiao for weight draining Cotto. You know what I'm saying? That's the bullshit I don't understand. So Cotto decided, I learned from the Pacquiao fight, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I'm going to tell this guy to come down and weight. You got to make 157. We're not going to fight at once. You're not going to get to go to 160. So obviously Daniel Geale, who's a 183 pounder, obviously he's going to be weight drained by the time. So that's why Cotto got him out of there. So easy. We all know this. We all know this. See, Adrian Broner tried to do that with Sean Porter, but Sean Porter was very disciplined because Sean Porter, even though he's probably 200 pounds naturally walking around, he shrunk himself down to about 10 pounds from 147. So Sean Porter stays so disciplined in his diet and just in his preparation and his exercise and everything, burning off everything, that Sean Porter stays at least 10 to 15 pounds away from the fighting weight. So when Adrian Broner said, oh, you got to come down to 144 and face me, they thought it would have drained Porter enough. And he was somewhat drained because he got dropped in the 12th round, which means his body was dehydrated to the point where he was somewhat weakened. He wasn't the strongest Sean Porter. Like I said, if you want to see a healthy fighter, they got to be hydrated. There's a big issue with the WBC right now and fighters who die in the ring because of dehydration. Okay? So, the Cotto that faced Manny Pacquiao was not the Cotto that faced everybody else. He wasn't. Okay? It was a dehydrated version of Cotto. And he came to the ring and he did his thing. You know what I'm saying? He still gave Pacquiao problems. He caught him with some really good shots, had a great jab and everything. But Pacquiao also caught Cotto with some good shots. Some beautiful shots. I love the right hook that he put in there. And then he had this right hook uppercut kind of thing that was going on. A beautiful combination. You know, stun Cotto. But you can't, you're not going to drop Cotto. Nobody drops Cotto. Only cheaters and guys that compromise Cotto. So you're not really going in with a fair deal. Because he was a huge welterweight. And then, of course, he was a super middleweight. And he showed that he was super middleweight, right? So I'm just saying this not to disrespect Pacquiao, because they both agreed to this. So it is what it is. But to show you that, you know, a lot of people talk about Cotto in a negative light. Oh, he drained Daniel Deal. Oh, he never fought at the full 160. You know, he's middleweight champion, but he never fight the full 160. He's ducking, Gennady Golovkin, all kinds of stupid things he said about Cotto in the latter half of his career because he was managing himself. He wasn't with Top Rank anymore. He wasn't with Bob Arum anymore. And so as a result of that, people were going to town on him. And of course, Bob Arum was also sending his dogs and spreading his shit in the media because that's what Bob Arum do. He's nasty and dirty like that. So anyway, you know, and Bob Arum also, he's somewhat responsible for all that negativity towards Floyd and all this thing about white beating and all this shit that he is. That motherfucker also, Bob Arum, you know. And I'm not mad at Bob Arum, but he do dirty politics. That's the way he work. Okay, you can see now they have a campaign against Errol Spence, and they trying to say all kinds of negative things about Errol Spence, how he's ducking Terrence Crawford. The same bullshit. Errol Spence is ducking Sean Porter. How could Errol Spence be ducking Sean Porter? Like, the man has never ducked anybody, okay? But he's ducking he's ducking Crawford, Terrence Crawford. That's Bob Arum again with his bullshit, right? We seen it with Mayweather and Pacquiao. We seen it with he did with Floyd and Margarito, and then he did with Oscar and he did with Floyd and Pacquiao, okay? It's bullshit. Bob Arum always on that bullshit, and that's what's they're trying to tarnish Floyd's career with that. Okay, they're trying to say he a cherry picker. They're trying to say that he fought guys too late, and he fought guys when it was appropriate for him to fight them because he was afraid of them before that. It was bullshit. How could Floyd be afraid of anybody? They were afraid to face him. Shane Mosley was afraid to face him when he was Pretty Boy Floyd with Bob Arum. They were saying on the HBO, oh no, them guys ain't gonna face him, right? Costa Zoo, he ain't gonna want to face Floyd after the Gaddy fight, and this bullshit. Oh, not the Gaddy fight. It was I think it was it's a kid, Henry Broselis, right? That's the way how these people are. They all of a sudden, this guy who's been ducked and dodged all his career, once he starts to make money after the Oscar de la Hoya, he gonna just turn around now and duck people? Come on, man. Like, really? When has Floyd ever ducked and dodged anybody? He's not. Cherry picking? I'll give the haters this one. I'll give the haters this one. We could say he cherry picked Andrew Roberto. We could say he cherry picked Conor McGregor. But he entitled to cherry pick at that point in time. Because he faced everybody of his era. There was nobody of his era he didn't face. That was at the top. Okay? At the top. Like number one, whatever. Number one welterweight. Okay? Paul Williams was not a number one welterweight. He was the number 8 welterweight of the world. Everybody was talking about Paul Williams need to face Floyd. Okay, Floyd waited on him, and he lost. He lost. Okay? Floyd was waiting to see what would happen between him and Carlos Quintana. He didn't retire. He retired after Paul Williams lost. He was sitting down there saying, okay, look, I'm going to give this guy a chance if I can. He didn't relinquish his title, his WBC title, until after Paul Williams lost to Carlos Quintana. For those of you who didn't know. Again, this is true. You know what I'm saying? He waited to see if Paul Williams, if he win his fight, maybe I can face this guy. And then he lost his fight. Antonio Margarito, on the other hand, he lost his fight too. And then everybody's talking about Margarito. Then Margarito beats Cotto to become the #1 welterweight in the world by cheating. The fucker cheated. Alright, this is why Floyd is retired. Okay? And Mosley comes while Floyd is retired and beats the brakes off of Tony Margarito and stops his ass. Okay? He beats him up. Mosley. The same Mosley that people say is over the hill, who was the #1 welterweight in the world, who went to Freddie Roach. Y'all remember this shit? He went to Freddie Roach to make a fight with Manny Pacquiao. Freddie Roach said, okay, then we'll do it at a catchweight. You too big for him. And Mosley said, hell no. And they said, well, no catchweight, no fight. They ducked him. Nobody talks about that. Mosley gives Floyd respect for facing him. Even though Floyd didn't want to face Mosley. Floyd wanted to face Pacquiao. And this is in 2010. After Mosley bum rushed Floyd on his, after his win of Marquez, because Floyd beat Marquez to face Pacquiao. He was trying to show, this is what I do to small guys. Now bring on the little midget. That's what he would call him. Bring on Pacquiao. Now he had respect for Pacquiao before that. He wasn't calling him no midget or nothing. But Pacquiao was #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Floyd obviously wants to get that credit back. He wanted to be the #1 pound-for-pound. So he was going after Pacquiao. I'm surprised all y'all dumbasses don't realize this. And then they're saying, when Floyd keep on keeping Pacquiao in his mouth, they say, oh, he must really love Pacquiao. No fucking idiot. Pacquiao's #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Floyd is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He wanted to show the world, I am the dude. I'm the shit. Let me get rid of this dude. I want to show you that I'm the shit. Okay? That's why Floyd kept on pursuing the fight for 5 years. And it wasn't no 7 years. Fuck y'all. It was 5 years. Okay? And as soon as Pacquiao was #1 pound-for-pound in 2008, Floyd started to get an itch. He was like, oh, that's what it is? After he beat Hatton. He was like, oh, that's what it is? Okay, I'm coming back to take my throne now. I got somebody. Okay, and he was an exciting fighter and everything, so Floyd knew he was going to make some money off of Pacquiao. So he came back to face Pacquiao, folks. It wasn't because of Marquez. He came back to face Pacquiao. And then he got discouraged when all the fans and all the media started calling him a coward. Why do you think Floyd is not so interested in boxing? Because this man did everything. He did everything you could ever want to do as a fighter in boxing. Everything. But every time, let me show you how nasty the media was. ESPN particularly. Every time Floyd had an upcoming fight, Pacquiao didn't get this. When Pacquiao had his upcoming fights, nobody was telling him he needed to face Floyd. Nobody was telling him that, okay? They would say it like this. Oh man, we hope that Floyd gets the guts to face you. So they flipped it to make it sound like Floyd was the one stalling it. When Pacquiao and Arum all the fucking time, who was turning down Floyd's offers? They were the ones ducking Floyd. For 5 years. And you motherfuckers so stupid, y'all didn't realize that was Pacquiao ducking Floyd, not the other way around. And they spun the message, and the media spun it to make it sound like Floyd was the one ducking Pacquiao. Okay? Because Floyd constantly got ticked off. Because Floyd have an upcoming fight. He's trying to promote his upcoming fight. And they would ask him over and over again, when you gonna face Pacquiao? As if he don't have an upcoming fight. As if his fights wasn't important. But Pacquiao, they wasn't doing that. When Pacquiao had a fight, they build it up and sensationalize it. And then they throw it on the side. Well, you think Floyd will ever face you, man? Like that. That was the narrative. And y'all bit the bullet like fucking assholes. Y'all bit it easy. Y'all was swayed like fools. Look at Floyd's opponents. Look at Pacquiao's opponents. Y'all so stupid. Y'all talk about, oh, Pacquiao faced the tougher opponents. No. He had tougher fights with them. Floyd just dominated their ass. Okay? He didn't have the tougher opponents, you dumbasses. Think about what I'm saying. Who is his key opponents that he has faced in his entire career? Marco Antonio Barrera, Erik Morales. And then the list of names from there on in are opponents that Floyd Mayweather faced. When we're talking legends. Juan Manuel Marquez, Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, Ricky Hatton. Okay? That's who he faced. Those are the names that make his career. He's got other names, but they're not Hall of Famers. Okay? They're not Hall of Famers. Alright? Ricky Hatton, Floyd faced first, was undefeated, was a beast. Juan Manuel Marquez, Pacquiao struggled with him. Floyd easily beat his ass. And Marquez is a beast because he stopped Pacquiao. Shane Mosley was the #1 welterweight in the world, just stopped Antonio Margarito. Floyd faced him first. Pacquiao faced a Shane Mosley coming off, lost to Floyd Mayweather, and a draw against Sergio Mora, in which Mosley looked terrible at super welterweight. Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto had 2 fights before, got stopped by cheat-ass Antonio Margarito. Faced Joshua Clottey. Clottey dropped his ass. Okay? He went on to squeak a win, in which I thought Clottey won that fight, to be honest with you. He got the WBO title, and then he faced Pacquiao at a catch weight. The Cotto that faced Floyd Mayweather came off of 3 straight knockouts. Knockout victories, including avenging his loss to Antonio Margarito, had all the confidence in the world, and came to face a smaller Floyd Mayweather, and he put the work in on Floyd. Later on in the fight, he started too late. That's the problem with it, right? Floyd scraped out 12th though, but he was the Cotto of old, the bruiser. Floyd's face was all bloodied and everything, like typical Cotto fight. So when y'all say, oh, he was broken goods when he faced Floyd, y'all talking so much bullshit, it's not funny. It's bullshit you talking. It's bullshit. We ain't finished. And then, Shane Mosley, right? Oscar De La Hoya. Like, are we gonna really talk about this? Oscar came off of a knockout loss to Bernard Hopkins. Spent 2 years off, came back into boxing, faced Ricardo Mayorga, and took the WBC cap from him, stopping him. Ricardo Mayorga's a tough guy, was talking all that smack and stuff. He stopped him. Then faced Floyd Mayweather at super welterweight, which was his preferred weight because Oscar De La Hoya is a natural 154-pounder. Floyd beat him. Some say split decision. I thought it was a unanimous decision win. Okay? Oscar had all the advantages, made Floyd wear bigger gloves. He had the weight advantage on Floyd. I weighed Floyd by God knows how many pounds. And so Floyd came into that fight. Okay, I assume Oscar came in 172, something like that. 170, 172. Floyd came in 148. Okay, I weighed him by, you just do the mathematics. You'll see what I did. That's some fucking crazy shit, right? So, yeah, I weighed about 24 pounds, something like that. So anyway, the point is, Floyd was facing a much bigger, stronger Oscar than Pacquiao faced, y'all. Oscar came in on the scales at 145. Rehydrated to 147, and they were using IVs on that motherfucker. Pacquiao outweighed Oscar on fight night. Like, how can y'all get, how's that a better opponent, man? How? Not to mention, Oscar was the WBC champion when he faced Floyd. What was Oscar then? And then he came off of a fight against what's his name? Can't remember his name right now. All right, it'll come to me. He's a guy that spent time in the Mayweather boxing gym, was former world champion. I forgot his name. That fight was flat. Oscar came into that fight, he won, but he came in flat in that fight, and he was fighting the guy at 150. He couldn't make 147, far less 145, man. Almost killed himself. Pacquiao could have killed him in that ring. He was so dehydrated. But that's a better opponent? Like, really? Marco Antonio Barrera and Erik Morales. Marco Antonio Barrera had just come off a war against Erik Morales. And Barrera, to be fair, was lineal champion. Was a great fighter. The problem with Barrera was like he was on his last strings. You know what I'm saying? He had a couple more good fights, you know, in his career. Pacquiao faced him more to the end of his career than the beginning of his career, but he was world champion, so I can't flag Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? Barrera was a world champion. That was a credible win. That's one Hall of Famer he got. But Floyd got 3 Hall of Famers that just as good as him. We got Jose Luis Castillo, okay? Bigger guy, all right? Bigger than Floyd. Power puncher. Skilled sparring partner of the great Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., okay? That's who Floyd fought. And y'all argue Castillo gave Floyd the biz in the first fight. Right? That's what y'all say. I didn't say it. Y'all say so. And Punch Stats support you. Punch Stats got Castillo winning 8 of the 12 rounds. Floyd only got the first 4. Then Castillo won everything else after that. That's what Punch Stats show. My point anyway is this. Castillo is going to go down in the Boxing Hall of Fame. That because of the lightweight. He was a great lightweight. But besides that point is this. I'm not saying that Marco Antonio Barrera is a worse fighter than Castillo. I'm just talking the threat. Pacquiao came up to featherweight and faced Marco Antonio Barrera. Hell of a fight, right? But Mayweather faced Castillo, Genaro Hernandez. He faced Diego fucking Corrales. Let's not forget him. I'm just showing you how many Floyd's got. He got Zab Judah. Okay? Arturo Gatti was too slow. But nonetheless, Arturo Gatti had the style. He was a good boxer. He had a style where he could fight on the inside, he could fight on the outside. But sometimes he didn't make proper decision making. Had hella power. Okay? Gatti came off of 3 great wins. Okay? To become WBC world champion. One of them defeating the undefeated, I forgot the kid's name. I think it was a southpaw. Well, maybe he was an Orthodox fighter. I can't remember. But he was undefeated. He was a contemporary of Floyd Mayweather as well. World champion as well. And Gotti took that title off of him. I think he went up in weight. He came up from super lightweight to face Gatti at welterweight. Try and dominate there. And Gatti got him with a body shot, man. Gatti was just too slow for Floyd. That was all. It was just he was too slow. Good boxer. Was boxing the first round very well, staying low, using the jab properly and appropriately, but he kind of get out his game plan after he got dropped by Floyd. But my point anyway is this. In terms of Hall of Famers, I'm not going to say that Gatti was a better boxer than Marco Antonio Guerrero, even though he was in equal amounts of exciting fights. But this is what I'm going to say. Hell yeah, Zab Judah is a better boxer than Marco Antonio Barrera. Hell yeah, Canelo Alvarez. We're talking Hall of Famers. And these are Hall of Famers that Pacquiao didn't face. He didn't face Zab Judah. He didn't face Canelo Alvarez. He didn't face Jose Luis Castillo. He didn't face Genaro Hernandez, and he did not face Diego Corrales. Okay, he never faced them guys. Right? I gave a list of names right there. They're definitely going in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Besides the guys that we talked about. He got Marco Antonio Barrera and he got Erik Morales. Erik Morales beat him the first time. Okay? He beat him the first time. Second time, third time, Erik Morales was what? AKA weight drain. That's Pacquiao ammo. That's how he got it on Erik Morales. That's why Erik Morales couldn't continue in the third fight. Because he couldn't make 130. He had to go up to 135. The next fight he had was what? At super lightweight. Then he won a title at super lightweight. Ain't nobody else put him down except for Danny Garcia in his final fight of his career. Not even Marcos Maidana could put him down. So if Marcus Maidana couldn't put down Erik Morales, how the fuck Pacquiao putting down Erik Morales? Huh? The first fight, he wasn't putting down Erik Morales. Erik Morales was taking all his punches. Why? And don't tell me about no fucking gloves. Bullshit. The reason is Erik Morales was weight drained for the next 2 fights. He was weight drained. And he even said that recently in his argument and debate with Marquez. Alright? You think Floyd would have just gotten Diego Corrales out of there just like that? Diego Corrales was weight drained. Okay? That's why he was getting dropped so easily. So some of these sensational fights, you got to pay attention to the opponent who's getting beat up. Figure out why. Sometimes it's because they're weight drained, man. Alright, so back to what I was saying. And I'm a fair dude. My point is this. Sometimes the storyline is a lie. And y'all gotta get smart with it, man. Y'all gotta get smart with it. That's like I said before, Floyd Mayweather, he not the most enthused about the sport of boxing because it's all about storylines and lies. Okay? Floyd straight up said after the Victor Ortiz fight, he said, they lying to you. They lying to you that I'm trying to duck them. I'm trying to make the fight, and they're stalling. I'm trying to make the fight happen. And they're stalling. They don't want to fight. They don't want to fight. Because guess what? If Floyd had beaten Pacquiao's ass in 2010, Pacquiao wouldn't be the big name he is today. He wouldn't have been. Because everybody would be like, he can beat Floyd. Okay? Now, what did they do? They spun a lie. Oh, Pacquiao won the fight. Oh, Pacquiao, he had an injured arm. To save face. And to this day, his fans so stupid, they just going with that. Oh, yeah, Pacquiao beat him, man. And some deluded fans doing punch stats and shit and saying, look at the facts, and counting punches. And he not even counting accurate. Because he don't know fuck about boxing. He don't know about spatial arrangement or nothing. So he counting a punch where a guy is like about 10 feet away from the other guy, and he's saying the other guy's still hitting him. That's the kind of shit we have to deal with out here. By the way, bring any questions, people. I'm telling you, bring them in. I'm just talking when I had to talk. So now they had to pull a guy 100 years back in time to say that Harry Crabb was a better fighter than Floyd. Oh, Sam Langford was a better fighter. You never seen Sam Langford fight. And from what I see, from the footage I see, that motherfucker flat-footed. He not beating shit. Okay? Roberto Duran is not beating Floyd. He's too fucking flat-footed. Okay? When you flat-footed like that, when you're a flat-footed fighter, you know, how the fuck you gonna beat a guy who got quicker feet than you? And I'm not saying that Floyd would go backwards on them. He'd come forward on them. But he's got quicker feet. So he's gonna get in position faster than the other guy. Okay? Cotto is a flat-footed fighter. Cotto's a flat-footed fighter. Y'all don't know that? Y'all think Danny Garcia the only one? Cotto's flat-footed. Now Cotto bring the heat and bring the pressure. But he's flat-footed. Okay? He's flat-footed. There's nothing wrong with being flat-footed. You get a lot of leverage on your punches. But don't tell me that a fleet-footed fighter is going to get beat from a flat-footed fighter. Because, well, he could cut off the ring? Come on, get the fuck out of here. Not with the knowledge that Floyd got, man. Look at Pacquiao. And Pacquiao's wasteful with his footwork. Okay? Pacquiao get the step on Cotto. Because why? He quick-footed. And Cotto's not quick-footed. Now, the weird thing about it is, when I talk about Ricky Hatton, he's weird, okay? He's a swarm of pressure fighter who's got quick feet. Ricky Hatton has very quick feet. He's always bouncing around, and then he just takes off. And he will feint you this way, then he feint you back this way as he's coming in, because he shifts his head. He has head movement as he's moving in. Okay? Ricky Hatton doesn't get the credit he deserves. Hell of a fight. Weird, awkward, but beautiful to watch. He got hit with shots, just like Duran got hit with shots coming in, but he an inside fighter, and he rough and rugged too. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's sad because I'm telling you guys this not because of Floyd really, because I wanted to actually talk about Cotto more than anybody else actually, and I think that Cotto would be a tough fight for any welterweight in history. including Henry Armstrong. And Henry Armstrong was a hell of a fighter on the inside. Cotto so physically strong, I think Armstrong would be overpowered by Cotto. That's how serious Cotto is. And for those Cotto fans out there, y'all don't like what I'm saying, but that's not the point. He was physically strong. Like, Cotto always imposes physical strength on his opponent. He wanted him to know, I'm physically stronger than you. And I remember he picked up Floyd and slammed him. I remember when he hit Zab Judah with that low blow, those 2 low blows was to say, hey, no, I run this show here. I'm the physically stronger dude. And I will maul you and I will break you down. You know what I mean? And Cotto, even against Antonio Margarito, while he was boxing him on the outside, as soon as he got on the inside, he started to rip it. You know? Unless you are a really good defensive fighter, Cotto is really going to beat you the fuck up. And even Floyd, he beat up pretty bad. And Floyd was blocking a lot of his shots. Actually, Zab Judah was blocking a lot of his shots. Zab Judah was catching a lot of his shots, but his shots were so hard, it was like it was going through Zab Judah's arm into his body, man. That's how hard Cotto punched. He punched real hard. He's not a one-hitter quitter, but he a mauler. He break you down. He break bones. He, physically imposing and strong. Cotto, a bruiser. He a bruiser. Boxer bruiser. Break you down, wear you down, then knock you out. It's a long, hard, grueling fight with a Cotto. Some people say, well, Tito Trinidad versus Cotto. Tito Trinidad would get axed up by Cotto because Cotto go to the body. Tito got that punching power too, but Tito need range and distance for that. Cotto close that distance on the inside. He would destroy Tito. He would destroy Tito. Cotto was a bad boy, man. And Tito would come to the uppercut a couple times on Cotto. Cotto probably buzzed him a couple times, but I see Cotto beating Tito. Cotto beats Tito, man. Tito need range to really put them shots together. He don't have short chopping shots. Cotto got short chopping shots. He a bruiser. And he also got that jab. That jab is just like, oh my God, that jab is something else. And Cotto goes southpaw and just uses his jabbing hand like a power hand. I'm sorry, man. I don't see Tito beating Cotto. I'm sorry. Tito was he had this irregular rhythm and everything, but Cotto would just mow through him, man. Would just mow through him. And I'm telling you, man, Cotto could take a punch. He could take a punch. At welterweight, he could take a punch. Okay? You're not stopping Cotto with one punch. Just not doing it. If Ricardo Mayorga could take Tito's punch, Cotto could more than take Tito's punch. You know what I'm saying? And so Tito was something else, no doubt about it, but he gets smoked by Cotto. Trust me. Cotto, y'all really underestimate Cotto. Cotto went up to middleweight. He did something Tito did not do. Okay? Tito was able to win. Wait a minute. I think Tito won. Tito won middleweight title of the world, didn't he? But Tito was a welterweight, so Cotto did super lightweight, welterweight, right? Okay. So Tito did win the middleweight title of the world. If I'm not mistaken, he knocked out the kid that stopped Duran. I forgot what his name is. It was an authentic middleweight, big strong middleweight too. He stopped him, and he dropped Roy Jones Jr. at light heavyweight. So Tito had that pop, but Cotto, man, I don't know, man. Cotto was a bad boy. Cotto was a bad boy, and I think that a lot of people just undervalue the present fighters. They're just going on Cotto. But you look at Cotto's style, you look at Cotto's career, Cotto was a bad boy. He didn't beat Floyd, didn't beat Pacquiao, but, the other guys that he beat was still impressive. I mean, okay, Sergio Martinez was, his feet were not under him, really. But, having said all of that, and also the guy that he wanted to win 54-pound title from, having said all of that, I think Cotto was a beast. He was a beast. And for those of you who don't think so, then y'all crazy. Y'all crazy, man. Cotto was a beast. And I think anytime you put him anywhere through history, Cotto would have given you an exciting fight, and he'd have whipped some ass. He would have whipped a lot of ass through history, you know. And Cotto come to fight. Cotto don't come to play around. He can box a bit, but he come to fight. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I say all of this to say that the haters of the present day fighters, and again, this is inspired by fuck ass Larry Merchant. If it wasn't for Larry Merchant, we wouldn't have this problem. Okay? But the haters come through and just decide to hate on people because maybe they already present things or whatever. And them guys will bring up the guys from the past. They'll bring up, you know, the John Braddens. They'll bring up the Ray Robinsons. They'll bring up the Leonards. They'll bring up the Durans. And they'll say, ah, man, these guys would beat these guys of today. Let me tell you something. Duran versus Miguel Cotto at welterweight. Who you think would win that fight? Duran versus Miguel Cotto. Think about what I'm saying. Thomas Hearns versus Miguel Cotto. Who you think would win that? See, when you really start to think about the matchups, when you really start to seriously think about it, don't tell me that Hearns would beat Cotto. You don't know who the fuck you talking about. Hearns had no inside game. Cotto gets to the inside. Alright? Cotto gets to the inside. So you can't just say off the top of your head that Hearns will beat Cotto. Gotta have some respect for Cotto. Alright? But because Hearns is a legendary fighter, y'all say Hearns will beat Cotto. And I've been doing, and Cotto got a decent jab. Yeah, he's shorter than Floyd. But every single fighter, Antonio Margarito was taller than him, had longer reach and range than him. And Cotto got to Antonio Margarito. Stopped him. Stopped Antonio Margarito, the tough guy. So if Cotto could stop Antonio Margarito, why? What's to stop him from stopping Thomas Hearns, who did not have inside game at the time in welterweight? What's to stop Cotto from giving Sugar Ray Leonard all he could handle? All he could handle. All he could handle. I'm asking you guys, what's to stop Cotto from giving Sugar Ray Robinson problems? And Sugar Ray Robinson was a big welterweight like Cotto. Cotto was a big welterweight too. Right? And Cotto fought at middleweight when middleweight is not same day weightings. So we're talking about a Cotto that come in at middleweight 165. He was a small guy, 165. Which means he was bigger than Sugar Ray Robinson weight-wise. That means he's big and solid and strong. Sugar Ray Robinson wasn't this guy with this tremendous knockout power like people make it sound. Right? He had good knockout power. He had good punching power. But he didn't stop Kid Gavlan. He didn't stop Henry Armstrong. Yeah, they say he carried him. But he didn't stop Bobby Dykes. He didn't stop Ralph Jones. In fact, he didn't stop a lot of guys. He didn't stop Carmen Basilio. He didn't stop what's his name? Shit, I forget the youngster's guy. Paul Pender and what's the other guy's name? And your power's the last thing to go. Alright? You know, he didn't stop a lot of fighters. He only got a 52% knockout ratio. Yeah, he had 200-something fights, but he only got 52% knockout ratio. You know what I'm saying? So, at the end of the day, they say he was just fair puncher and whatever, man. Whatever. I'm not saying he didn't punch. I'm sure he punched probably as hard as Shane Mosley. But guess what? Miguel Cotto fought Shane Mosley. Now, Shane Mosley, if the fight went on longer, probably would have stopped Miguel Cotto. But my point is, Miguel Cotto beat Shane Mosley out boxing. You know what I'm saying? So, what's this stuff? I mean, If you, all I want you guys to do is have respect for the present fighters. That's all I want you to do. Hold on a second. Let me see what you got saying here. Dumb Boya said Duran was a tough son of a gun. He was tough, man. He was tough. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Cotto's tough too. And I think people don't give Cotto the credit that he deserves. Duran got knocked out how many times in his career? A couple times, right? He got knocked out. Can't remember the dude's name for nothing. Anyway, yeah, he was stopped a number of times in his career. Okay, more times than Cotto. All right. And in fact, Cotto at the ending part of his career didn't get knocked out. And Cotto, the only reason he was stopped in both fights that he had was because one was at catchweight and the other one was because the other guy was cheating. Okay? Cotto don't get stopped. Cotto don't even get dropped. Okay? And it's almost that's the theme of almost his entire career, right? So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, you put Duran against Cotto, who's gonna win? We don't know. That's, to be honest with you, I don't know. You know, because Cotto is a bruiser, Duran was a counterpuncher, kind of inside fighter. They both can fight on the inside, right? They both can fight on the inside. All right. Duran would try to get the lower ground on Cotto, but Cotto stays low, and Cotto blocks. He had the turtle cross blocker, you know, and he protects his body pretty good. So I don't know who will win. All right. Duran would have tried to push Cotto back, I'm sure. Duran would have been, you know, the quicker hands. But Cotto always been in a bruiser fight. So I don't know, man. Duran would have taken some punishment. He would have taken some punishment that fight, because Cotto going to go to the body. Cotto going to go to the body. And Cotto likes to get low. He don't want you up and under him. You know? And yeah, Duran had hands of steel. Don't get me wrong. He punched hard as a mule. If Sugar Ray Leonard could take his punch, if most of them other guys could take his punch, then as much as he had fist of steel, I think Cotto would break him down too. I don't think it would have been a one-sided fight at all. Not even in the least. Okay? And because Cotto fought all the way up to middleweight and won the middleweight championship just like Duran. He started a higher weight class than Duran. He was athletic enough to be able to fight at Duran. So I don't know, man. I don't know who would have won. Right? Duran didn't stop Aaron Barkley either, right? I say all of this just to say that people trash the present fights, the present greats. Talk about how Floyd Mayweather's era was an era devoid of talent and skill, which is bullshit again. Alright? Cotto was in that era. Marquez was in that era. Pacquiao was in that era. Mosley, De La Hoya, Canelo. Cotto. That's not an era devoid of talent at all. Right? So I don't believe in that shit. I don't believe in the lies that they've been perpetrating. They perpetrate a lot of lies. And I'm tired of the bullshit. And I look at the black and white films and I be impressed by certain things those guys do that we don't see done anymore. I'm impressed by it. But don't get me wrong. It's not just in the black and white. It's been going on in boxing every generation. Every generation has been exciting fights. But you see, when you got guys like fucking Larry Merchant, who be fucking up the sport, and Jim Lampley doing their crusades, their hit campaigns against certain fighters, this is what you get. You get fans that undervalue the sport and undervalue what they're seeing. This era is just as good, if not better, than the previous eras. And in this era now that we got with the new generation, people again trying to go to town on the new fighters. And fuck y'all. Seriously. The new fighters that coming up, there's so much promise behind them. So much, just so much great things. I hope they supersede what Mayweather has done. It's going to be hard to do it, but I mean, because Mayweather covered every category. He covered the financial area. He covered in the ring. He covered the superstardom. You know, he covered every single area. So it's kind of hard to really beat. He got records in all of them. All right. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat that, but You know, if a fighter comes out early and is becoming world champion and probably, 5-6 years into his career, he's a superstar, it could possibly happen. Who knows? They got to dominate everybody. You got to dominate everybody. You got to beat everybody. That's hard to do. And Floyd ain't fighting scrubs. He wasn't fighting scrubs. He was fighting legendary fighters. Okay? After their legendary performances. Okay, Shane Mosley's best performance, according to Shane Mosley, was Antonio Margarito fight. All right? They didn't expect Mosley to win. They thought Margarito was going to roll over him. And Mosley not only dominated Margarito, he stopped it. Okay? Shane Mosley. Now, I'm gonna be fair with you guys. I understand where the criticism from Mayweather comes from when they say Cotto's damaged goods. Let me tell you why. When Cotto was coming up and he wasn't losing, he was perceived to be by fans unstoppable. And then he got stopped by Antonio Margarito. And then repeated, he got stopped by a little ass Pacquiao. So people say, oh, he ain't really all that he is. So the mystique around Cotto. See, this is what I try to explain to people. The reality and the mythos are not the same. There was a mythos. There's a mythical thing around Cotto. He's this unstoppable force. There's a mythos around Antonio Margarito who didn't have skill for shit. Just an android just throwing punches, but, he had loaded gloves to help him. There was this mythos around it that Antonio Margarito was this great, terrible welterweight who had been undefeated, which he was undefeated for a long time. He was a dominant champion in so many different fights, but he had one thing going for him. Endurance. He had stamina. He had conditioning. That's all Margarito had going for him. He wasn't this great boxer or anything. All right? Paul Williams, same thing. And people ask the same dumbass question. What will Floyd do when he hits Antonio Margarito and Antonio Margarito keeps coming? Well, the answer for that is in the Carlos Baldomero fight, in the Jesus Chavez fight, in the Carlos Hernandez fight, in the so many fights where guys, Jose Luis Castillo fight. Floyd hit Jose Luis Castillo with his best punch. Castillo kept coming. Jesus Chavez kept coming. All right. Carlos Baldomero kept coming. Marcos Maidana kept coming. Floyd's been there, done that. What if Floyd throws a shot at Sugar Ray Leonard and can't get Leonard to respect his power? Well, first of all, Leonard will respect his power because Floyd got power to make you respect him. As Shane Mosley, as Zab Judah. He ain't a one-hitter quitter. Okay, ask Oscar De La Hoya. He's not a one-hitter quitter. That don't mean he don't got pop to make you respect him. Okay, nobody's walking through Floyd. Okay, so Sugar Ray Leonard will respect that power. Okay, what happens when Sugar Ray Leonard hits him? Well, what happened when Jose Luis Castillo hit him? What happened when Shane Mosley hit him? What happened when Zab Judah hit him? What happened when Miguel Cotto hit him? Oscar De La Hoya hit him. I mean, he's taking punches from guys, big guys. All right? Marcos Maidana nailed him. He didn't even fall. Okay? So, I don't understand why it is that people, especially fight fans, they hang on to power, they hang on to how tough you are, and they can't see boxing so much more than that. And they come up with the same dumbass question over, well, what if Floyd can't take... So basically, their whole thing that they hang their hangers on is not skills, not ability, not... They're hanging their thing on a puncher's chance. It's all about a puncher's chance. Well, Sugar Ray Leonard will have a puncher's chance against Floyd. Yeah, of course he'd have a puncher's chance. Because y'all can't break it down no other way. Some people say, well, you have a jab. And what does that mean? Sugar Ray Leonard has a great jab. Now, what does that mean? He consistently uses his jab. What does that mean? How many people had great jabs against Floyd? Cotto had a great jab. Oscar has great jabs. Oscar's a great jabber. That's what Oscar do. Okay? Cotto's a great jabber. Everybody knows that. Right? So those guys had great jabs. And it didn't do shit. Floyd still won the fight. He had great jabs. He still won. So telling me he has a great jab means what? What does that mean? And that's why I'm doing the seminars for you guys to understand, because you guys don't know fuck about boxing. It's great to have a great jab. Great to have a consistent jab. But some people don't understand there are boxers out there, special boxers out there, like Charlie Burley. I'm gonna mention the names again. Pernell Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker do it a different way. Canelo Alvarez. Floyd Mayweather. Manny Pacquiao. Okay? Aaron Pryor. That can neutralize a jab. Alright? Go check out Johnny Bratton. Johnny Bratton, called the untelegraphed right hand. Watch it. Watch also the pull counter. Watch for the feint, the left hook feint or the left jab feint coming with the pull counter. Go look at El Nato, Panamanian fighter. Untelegraphed right hand. Okay? Because a lot of y'all just don't understand boxing, so y'all just talk out your ass. Nobody's saying the jab is not a very important punch. But special boxers like Roy Jones Jr., like Floyd Mayweather, they have other tools than the jab that they use. They can put away the jab and not jab for the entire night and still win a fight against a guy who's an excellent jabber. Why? And I'm trying to share with you guys some of the tools that they use in my community posts. I'm showing you what the fuck they be doing. So go watch it. Okay? Just because a guy has a good jab doesn't mean shit. Go watch Oakland Smith versus Charlie Burley. Oakland Smith have a hell of a jab. Charlie Burley still knocked him out. Why? So telling me that a fighter has a good jab don't mean shit to me because he has to land that jab. Okay? And a good jab, a singular good jab, will never beat a guy who has several good jabs. Listen carefully again to what I said. A good jab will never beat a guy who has several good jabs. I'm teaching you guys some shit. Okay? I wasn't old enough, dumb boy, it says. I wasn't old enough to watch Duran, but I saw the Duran movie. You should watch the clips. Just watch the fights of Duran. Hell of a fighter. Hell of a fighter. Explosive. Defensively, he got hit, but he was tricky because he got low. And he would move with your body. Kind of like modern day Henry Armstrong, kind of like. You know, Duran was an interesting guy, man. He got a lot of ferocity and vigor. He used a lot of feints and stuff to get to the inside. Very interesting fight. So you should really check him out and study him too. Hell of a fighter. Hell of a fighter. He had good defense. Not great defense, but he had good defense. Right? What you saying here? Brodowis. Shout out to Brodowis right now. 3 guys Sugar Ray beat ended up having HIV. Okay. But that says, I think Sugar Ray a weird guy for that. I don't know about that, bro. All I know is Sugar Ray. Is this Robinson or Leonard you're talking about? Let me see what you're talking about first. Which Sugar Ray is this now? Which Sugar Ray is this? Sugar Ray Leonard? Dumb says Brodowis Booker. He's laughing. All I know is this, right? He's laughing at Brodowis Booker. It's funny. Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson? Well, Sugar Ray Robinson didn't have HIV, so it didn't really matter. that's kind of funny. Nah, man. Sugar Ray Robinson was cool, I think. Sugar Ray. Oh man, for dollars. Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson was a good fighter, man. He was a really good fighter. Really good fighter. Smart fighter. You know. Always try to control his opponents. Very good fighter, don't get me wrong. But Dad says, nah, man, he got HIV from kissing the hoe. Y'all like to talk too much crap, man. Yeah, so, yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson, hell of a fighter. Hell of a fighter. 200 plus fights. You know. Stayed a little too long in the game. I think even Rocky Marciano assessed him and said he stayed a little too long in the game. Kind of messed up his legacy a little bit, but Sugar Ray Robinson was a hell of a fighter. Beautiful. Fought off the jab. Textbook. Classical textbook fighter. You know. The guys of the day fought like that. He had special effects to some degree. Even though he was a straightforward fighter. Kind of like another fighter was like that. Was Ezra Charles. Ezra Charles was another fighter that was something like Sugar Ray Robinson. Ezra Charles, textbook. Got the jab, work off the jab. You know, you fight on the inside, you fight on the outside. You know, yeah. But as says, you think an amateur like me with 12 fights will be able to beat journeyman pro boxers if I turn pro now? No. I would not advise you to do so. Unless you're God gifted. I wouldn't advise you to do that. I think you should at least have at least 40, 50 fights under your belt. Because you got to get different looks and stuff. You don't just step in there. Trust me, journeyman got experience. You don't want to go in there and get, knocked out by a journeyman because he knows stuff that you don't know. So no, you should build up, at least have about 40, 50 fights, amateur fights before you go pro. Don't just go pro like that. That's dangerous. They're gonna have to match you properly. Cause you're not ready for those guys. You're not ready for them, trust me. Just because they call journeyman don't mean all of them is classed the same, okay? Yeah, Emmanuel Augustus was a journeyman. And, you know what I'm saying? You don't just want to be matched up with journeyman. Journeyman is a big range and scope. You can have top tier journeymen who, they're like almost gatekeepers, man. You remember Andrew Ward got dropped by Daniel Boone? He was a journeyman. Daniel Boone almost knocked out Andrew Ward, okay? Journeymen are not just, don't get it twisted. Journeymen can be a problem, okay? So, no, you're not ready for no journeyman. You're not ready. You got to take your time when you go into the pros. You face another debutant like yourself and get the feel of what the pros is like before you even try to face that journeyman. You're not ready for that yet. Maybe you can box Paulie. Don't fucking box Paulie, man. You can spar him if you want, but don't box him. That man's been a champion. Okay? You want to spar him first. See if you can hang with world champions before you even think about going in a pro fight with him. Trust me, this is boxing. Experience does count for something. As much as you see Paulie with them bruised hands, Paulie might stop you. Because there's certain things you just don't know yet. Right? And defensive flaws you will have. And he could stop you. I'm serious. This man's a former world champion. You think that even the guy in the BKB that beat him, all right? That dude in BKB been boxing for a while and been doing MMA and stuff. You've not been boxing for that long, okay? Or doing MMA for that long. You've been just here a cool minute. You don't want to go in there with a seasoned vet like that. You know, you don't want to go in there with a seasoned. Conor McGregor will kick your ass. Conor McGregor would kick your ass in boxing. Because what people don't know is Conor McGregor grew up as a child boxing. He then moved off to MMA after. But Conor McGregor, and he still does a little bit of boxing with his MMA, right? Conor McGregor would whoop your ass. Bad. Okay? So don't, I mean, I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm just telling you. It's the pros we're talking about here. It's guys who've been at the highest level. They got a lot of experience behind them. You're not just gonna just go in there and they know things you don't know. So they can take you out. Remember, boxing's a thing. Remember this. Boxing's a thing. You make one little mistake and the other guy can capitalize on that. And that's it. Curtains. Anybody can get knocked out in boxing. Anybody. By anybody. It's a dangerous sport. And the guys who are at the top, the elite boxers, they know what to do when. Which is why they don't get caught. Look at Tony Harrison versus Jamel Charles. Tony Harrison made one little mistake. And he was stopped. You look at J-Rock versus Rosario recently. J-Rock made one little mistake and he never recovered from it. Okay? One little mistake he made. And he never got the chance to recover from it. You have to understand, this is a sport where inches count, where defense counts. That's why I'm never worried about Canelo. Canelo got that defense. And when I talk about defense, I'm not just talking about any kind of defense. I'm talking about the real defense. The real defense. A lot of people try to do shoulder roll and all this stuff. No, Canelo know how to do it all. That's why Canelo can fight guys significantly bigger than him. Okay? And hang with them like if it's nothing. Because he's got defense. And that's because he's practiced this thing over and over and over and over again. Why Mayweather could face Canelo? Because he has defense. Alright? Why he could walk to Conor McGregor? Because he has defense. So, and you always say, oh, Conor McGregor, he wasn't in the class of Mayweather. I get what you're saying. He wasn't in Mayweather's class. But guys who get beat by guys that are not in that class. Tyson got knocked out by Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas is not in the class of Mike Tyson. Right? Later on in Tyson's career, he's getting knocked out by guys who don't deserve to knock him out. But he's getting knocked out by them. Right? You know? You look at Roberto Duran got beat by guys nowhere in his level. Nowhere on his level. Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Oliver McCall. And so what I'm saying to you is that anything can happen in boxing. And if you make mistakes, you're going to pay for them. It just so happened Mayweather was walking down Conor McGregor and he said he was going to walk to him. He walked to him. And you saw what happened as a result. Working the body, etc. Putting the pressure on him. But yeah, fighters from, don't forget to smash the like button, people. If you enjoying these videos and you liking the conversation, and again, I'm just expressing my opinions right now. I'm not really expressing facts per se. Conor kicked Paulie's ass. I don't know if he kicked Paulie's ass, but I do know there's video footage of him dropping Paulie. But now it says, you see the video of Conor McGregor beating up a kid at an amateur event? No, I did not. I'd be interested in seeing that. But now I'm beating fighters with 30 plus fights because my mindset and I apply so much pressure. That's good, man. That's sparring though. Or is that boxing? That's boxing matches? That's great. But you only 12 fights in. So let's just keep it going. You have a good start. Keep working on your craft. Keep working on the boxing. Don't just jump into pros yet. Take your time. There's no rush. You're young. Take your time. Get that experience. Get to face different styles. Get to face Be challenged. Hopefully you get challenged by somebody that makes you step up your game. You don't want to be just beating everybody and having an easy time. You want to be able to get challenged all the time. Because when you get into pros, somebody's going to have your number. And you have to be able to be ready for that. Right? You don't want to have any kinks in your armor. You want to have an all-around game. So if your confidence is being boosted by the people that you're beating, that's good. But that's not enough. You got to get challenged. And you have to see every single style you could possibly see before you go into the pros. That's why I said 50 plus fights. Hopefully you're not facing all the guys with the same style that you're beating all the time. Right? You get stronger too. Because when you get into pros, you're going to have to be stronger than you are in the amateurs. It's a different scoring system and everything. So you got a good start. Now you got to keep on challenging yourself. You're not going to bring people in there in the pros to spar you who are people that you could easily beat. You want to get in there with people who could challenge you. You don't want people that challenge you too hard so that you get beat up. But you want people who will challenge you. You think lifting weights is bad for boxing? It depends on what kind of weights you're talking about. If it's a little dumbbells so you can get some punch resistance, no. Sometimes you can go in the gym and work out a little bit, but you don't want to be too tight. You know, when you lift too heavy a thing, maybe you do multiple reps on something, but you don't want to be doing something where it's so heavy that you're tight after that. You know, you want to still build strength, but you want to keep your flexibility. Lifting weights is not necessarily a bad thing for boxers. But you have to understand that it only builds a certain degree of strength in a certain area. And it's probably not going to be in your boxing, your actual throwing a punch, because you need flexibility for that. So lifting weights could be good under the right advice, especially if you're doing resistance training. It could be very good for you to build your strength and stamina as well. You know, you go running with weights on your legs, you go running with weights on your hands, that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't suggest that you just lift weights for lift weights' sake. So you're going to get stronger. It doesn't really do like that. You have to get physical strength from being in the ring and actually rumbling with people. Getting on the inside, wrestling them up. Adjusting for position to get your shots in. That kind of thing. That's what builds strength. Being able to push a guy to the ropes. Impose your weight and size on the guy. You know. That's why bigger fighters should be imposing his weight and size on a smaller fighter. It's not so much the punching power and all of that, which a lot of these fight fans, again, they don't have a clue. You have to be able to use your strength against the fighter. So that's why Floyd said he was a physically stronger guy with Pacquiao, because he could move Pacquiao around the ring how he wanted to. We'll continue the series with nullifying the jab, so look out for that. Of course, I was doing a little bit of getting low. And I was showing different fighters that actually did that and implemented that. Dumb Boy says, eat the same weight as Canelo and get stronger. Tommy Asada, I think they call it. Shit. Nah, man. Y'all be shit talking Canelo. Be honest with you, I don't think that Canelo actually cheated or anything. I think he really did eat tainted meat, but whatever. Here's what it is. I'm gonna let it go. Y'all be shit talking Canelo. I don't know why y'all hate Canelo so. Why y'all hate Canelo? And then you make jokes about it. That fucking Larry Merchant fucked up boxing. But Canelo's a good fighter. No doubt about that. You know. But he got into this controversy, so he's not gonna live that down. He's not gonna live it down. This is what it is. All I want Canelo to do is face Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade. You know, and all them other young fighters, which he will do. Tank Nation. Alright, man. Javante need to face somebody else, man. He faced Yorkis Gamboa. That was a good start to the lightweight division. He's coming back down. He's gonna face oh wow. I forgot his name. You know who I'm talking about. Tank's gonna face Leo Santa Cruz. gonna face Leo Santa Cruz. That should be a good fight. Leo doesn't let up, and Tank got power, so we'll see what happens with those two. Tank versus Leo is a good fight, and Leo won that fight, so it's a good fight. And Leo gonna bring it. I just hope that he can handle what Tank brings to the table. And if he can't, well, hopefully it goes the distance. You know? I wanted to see Leo face Gary Russell Jr. Maybe he'll face him too. We'll see. But Leo has some good fights over the horizon for him. So, Gary Russell Jr. looks like he's going up to lightweight. I'd love to see Tank versus Jamel Herring too, since people were talking about that. It's a good fight, but we'll see. I don't know how things will go. We'll see. Need the rest of it, man. I just need to take a rest. I gotta drink some more water. So, man, people, this is what I got. I'm what you need. You watch my channel. If you guys like this video, you can like, share, subscribe, comment, and donate via Western Union or MoneyGram to my channel. Any other questions you guys got? So we could just get into it. Because I'm about to shut it down. But I wanted to talk about the throwback fighters, man. One thing about the throwback fighters, they really scrap. What I mean by that is, when one guy, and it's kind of funny, but how it happens. But one guy starts to throw combinations, the other guy starts throwing combinations with him. And they just scrap out. And I guess a lot of people like that. But, I don't know, man. I don't think that kind of machismo shit is necessary. You know, somebody who has more composure and can take their time with the fight, I think, spares themselves just having all that stupid little shootouts that don't make no damn sense. You know, it's left, right shootouts. I always had nothing, which I find ridiculous. Go to the body, man. Yeah. I gotta go do some more. Yeah, people. So that's it. Nobody have any more questions? That's it? Alright, cool. But I'm gonna talk more about throwback fighters, because y'all gonna see a lot more. And you're gonna even see pieces on fighters that nobody actually knows today like that. I'm gonna do all of that. Trust me. I'm gonna catch you guys later on what you need. Deuces. I'm out. Peace.